Long podcast today.
Oh, you guys get more today.
Apparently, we just had a lot to say. I don't know.
Or we talked longer.
I guess Nikki and I were locked up in whatever for too long.
We just had to come back and tell you guys all the stuff. It is our RIOT podcast. Thank you guys for listening and joining us over the weekend. I got a lot of text messages from RIOT podcast listeners. So you guys are so sweet when you text us and just say how much you enjoy listening.
Well, thank you for being there, everybody. I just got to get this out real quick. I didn't put it on the show today because I just felt like only the most dedicated RIOT listeners would care.
Yeah.
And that is, did you know that Intel makes processors now that require graphics cards? Don't they always have graphics cards on the processor? Isn't that why I bought an Intel processor? And the answer is no.
Why did you save this for the podcast intro?
I don't know. I've been dying to say it.
You just needed someone to say it to?
I just needed somebody to say it. I bought it because I was like, it'll be cheaper. The graphics will be on the processor.
But you didn't know?
I built this computer yesterday. I'm like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? And finally, I can't remember what I ended up looking at, but right on the box, it says requires graphics. And I was like, oh my gosh.
You've built a ton of computers over your lifetime, so you would know what you were doing.
Yep.
So now you got to go pick a graphics card up?
No, they're delivering it tomorrow. I'm not going to the store. Forget it. Those filthy people with their viruses.
All right. Well, now that you got that out, the rest of the podcast now continues.
Yeah, now we can get back to, we talk about fishing. NASCAR is back.
Yep.
We talk about how angry, like how busy the world was and how angry some people are. Imagine that, angry people online.
That is a shock.
Shocker, right? We talk about our potential after show for this week. You really should sound off on what you think. Whether you come by our Facebook page or Twitter or whatever.
Or do you think they're both bad choices? We want to hear everything.
Just whatever you got.
We've got an idea for an after show this week. We were going to try to do it last week, but it didn't work out. We wanted to do like an old school Wii bowling tournament, just us hanging out playing bowling. But then there's also this new game called Man Eater. It's a shark game.
It's exactly what you think it is.
That comes out on Friday when we're going to do our after show. So we'll have to decide by then.
Yeah. We talk Instagram trends, a new Star Trek show, some stuff about Apple. Is it worth it to try to do something this weekend? A new electric car from Dyson, stuff like that. So
here it is.
I'm sure there's some other things in there. Oh, and trying to be thankful.
All that made it in. We're thankful for you guys for listening to the podcast.
All right. So you guys have a great
day.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Seriously, if you ever have anything for the show, make sure you send it to us. Facebook, email, riot@radiou.com, text us. We're always on the lookout for something fun to talk about.
We appreciate when you guys say hello.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
I'll just tell you, I don't like fishing.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Somebody sent me a picture of this place, and like their incentive is that it's all like these pictures of people fishing.
Oh, and that does not interest you, where maybe it was interesting to them?
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be like, oh my gosh, look at all that fishing.
I would love to go.
Wouldn't you love to go fishing?
Well, we all like different things.
Yeah, we do, and it's not wrong. If you like fishing, then great. Fish all you want. You know, pull them out of the water.
Put them back.
Put them, maybe.
Maybe if you want to, think about putting them back.
Okay, that brings me to something else. Mm-hmm. A discussion that I had this weekend in which someone was talking about, you know, how much they had some fish that died, and it was so sad because they love their fish and all this kind of stuff. They got back. I am not making this up. They had gotten back from a fishing trip to discover that their fish were dead. And
the irony in that.
I know.
They might not have noticed that at the moment.
You took a trip so that you could wholesale slaughter fish. You caught fish. You killed them, you cooked them, you ate them.
Those are different ones. These were their home fish, and they were not the same ones.
But when you found your fish dead, oh, how sad.
That was too much.
Like
you did not bring that up to them, did you?
No.
Okay, you just need to let them think that through themselves.
I just thought about it, though. I was like, this doesn't make like a ton of sense, like when you really think about it. And I don't think they're ever going to make that connection.
Did they bring fish home, or did they just really go out and enjoy the the stuff with it, but not actually, did they actually take fish out? Make sense? Like,
no. Meaning, did they catch and release?
Yeah,
or did they
not even catch? Because I know some people that just like to go and sit and, pretend fish, but they're not really actually bringing any fish home.
Hey, I don't have any interest in fish. They're gross. They taste gross. They're gross to touch. They're just gross. I don't like fish.
So that is not an exciting email.
No, I'm not up for that. But, this other stuff where it's fine.
But fish at home in an aquarium?
Don't want them.
Don't want them. Not even there.
I just don't. It's fine. If you want to keep fish or you want to go fishing, do your thing. I don't want any fish. And if you're wondering if this is going anywhere, no, it's not.
That was all it is.
That's it. People sent me, there's pictures and fish, and I'm like, this is not incentive. In fact, nah, no. Am I paying extra for that?
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, did you spend some time NASCARing yesterday?
Was that the first day back? I didn't.
NASCAR is back, baby.
I did not watch NASCAR before, and so I didn't really feel like making a statement of yay, something's back. But, you're supposed to be supportive.
Right. So, were you?
I was not. I forgot. I didn't even notice.
What?
I didn't even know.
What?
I mean, maybe I heard it somewhere, but I didn't see any.
How can you not know the single most important sign? That's how I knew that things are getting back to normal.
When NASCAR came back?
Man, once I saw that NASCAR was back, it was just you know what? We're going to be okay, guys.
Now, I've seen a lot of ads for the PGA stuff, for golf coming back.
Yeah.
But nothing for NASCAR.
Were they back this weekend?
It's coming.
Okay, so not yet. No, Kevin Harvick, won NASCAR's return race at Darlington Raceway. It had been 71 days since there had been a NASCAR race.
And so they had no fans, I assume?
No
one in the stands?
I don't know. Let's see. Masks, social distancing, remote broadcasting, and a fan-free speedway.
There it is, fan-free.
Okay. When you're in the car and stuff, do you really notice that there are people in the stands?
That's a good question.
Maybe when you get done, you're oh, yay!
And perhaps the energy going into the start of the race.
Right.
It's probably very important to have that.
But at the actual start.
Yes, at the start
I'm sorry. I mean, in the actual race.
You probably forget that during that time. Or are they always fueling you on? The energy from the people pushing you to be the best NASCAR driver you can be.
They're certainly going to tell you that's what they're doing, but I don't know that that's actually what. You've actually been to a NASCAR race.
I've been to several, yeah. Well, it's not me, it's my dad, so.
It's amazing.
Why? It's really fun. It's like a baseball game. It's super fun, or most sports. It's super fun to be there.
Right.
Just really boring to me to watch at home.
What are you talking about? Nikki, you put on the race, then you fall asleep in the middle.
Close
then
your eyes.
You wake up for the rest of it.
Now, I've never been to a golfing event, so I don't know if that statement holds true to, is it exciting at a golf event?
I don't know. I have a lot of friends that like to go to Muirfield or whatever it is, the Masters. There's some tournament that they go to every year, and it's tickets are hard to get, and they're excited about going, and they really like it.
I think I'd actually like to watch golf on TV more, because then you're seeing the bigger picture. Whereas if you're at golf, you've got to probably stay to one hole, or if you walk around.
Well, if you care about the sport, TV is absolutely the best way to enjoy a sport. It's not being at the stadium. It's just not. Because, man, you think about it. Think about how big TVs are, and they give you every angle up close. It's an amazing way to experience the sport. We're used to it, but it really, really is. Then again, you don't get the energy of the crowd.
Which is why when you go to most events, you see people just watching the feed while they're actually at the event.
Yes, totally.
Because they want all the details. But that's awesome. If you love NASCAR, man, that's a good step forward.
So this is the first of 20 races they're going to be doing. So NASCAR is back between now and June 21st.
And they expect all those to be fan-free?
As far as I know, yes.
Probably.
And it looks like they're racing. I mean, I don't think I'm getting this wrong. It looks like they're racing today and tomorrow. So they were doing 3 races in 3 days.
Maybe they're catching up.
I guess.
Sounds like they are.
Was yesterday would have been the first one. So, yeah, I mean, they must be racing today and tomorrow. well, I'll be sure to not be watching. But
still awesome to hear.
If NASCAR's your thing, I mean, there were so many people that were pumped about that yesterday. Just to have, honestly, anything back.
I'd be curious about the numbers.
One day, a heroic time traveler will go back in time to make sure none of this ever happens. Until then, it's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So this weekend, I felt like I was going to absolutely lose my mind.
You did?
Oh, my gosh. Saturday, it was...
Was this about the fishing bang?
No, it was just being at home. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I've got to go somewhere. And so this led to like, okay, so where are you going to go? What are you going to do? What is there to do? Is there any, what is there?
You could go to a restaurant. At this point, you could go in.
So I had this idea where I was like, you know what? How about biking?
That's a good idea.
Just get a bike and like go. I like to be outside. I like to exercise. Biking's fun. Like I don't have a bike. Man, I haven't had a bike in forever. So it's like grab a bike and, hit a trail. And maybe I'll do that for a couple of weekends. That'll be getting out without, just wandering around the mall.
Sure.
So I went to the store and I was like, where do you buy a bike? Now, keeping in mind that I don't want to spend $1 million on a custom built. Oh, it's adjusted just for you.
They are way more expensive than you realize.
Like here, it's made of this aircraft steel composite. So it actually weighs less than a pound. No. I'm just looking for a crappy old bike. And so I went to Walmart.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, whatever. Oh my gosh. So depending on where you live, of course, some areas that kind of lifted restrictions, keeping in mind that Walmart's never been closed. Mm-hmm. It's been open the entire time. There was nowhere to park.
Oh, it was so crowded. Yeah.
Nowhere to park.
And if you've ever been to a Walmart, they have a lot of places to park.
Yeah. And this whole idea of like, well, we're going to maintain social distancing with blah, blah, blah. No.
Oh, no one even did that?
Not that I could see. I didn't. You know what? I didn't even go in.
Oh, gotcha.
It was one of those things where after I couldn't find a place to park, even their overflow parking, like their second lot, it had some open spots, but even there were a lot of people in there. I thought, do you really want to go in there? Do you want to go in there and climb over people? And the funny thing was, it wasn't even so much about like, what if I get the corona? It was like, hey, let's take the virus completely out of the picture. I don't want to go into that.
Just even if it was just normal.
Forget about health. Just think about the idea of going into Walmart and all of the people from these cars are in there. I was like, I don't want it enough.
Why don't you just do curbside?
No, well, because I don't want to buy a bike without seeing it at the very least, like getting an idea about it. Because,
yeah, you could have at the curb. And then just be like,
true.
Take it back.
Open it up there. Could you assemble it for me? I want to sit on it.
Oh, yeah, that's true if it wasn't built already.
Yeah, and I kind of figured whatever I bought, I would probably have to assemble, but a lot of times they'll have an assembled one that you can get a look at before you buy it. And I had a couple in mind, and I was like, forget it. So I went a couple of other places, exact same thing. Like literally people just climbing all over each other. It looked like one of those freaky cat videos where there's 1,000 cats in a house. And
Did you notice it was nice to see, because I was driving somewhere and restaurants were open like patio wise and inside. Right. It doesn't mean all were open. It was up to the restaurant, but it was really nice to see just people doing something again. Because then that felt like, people are working at those places where they had been closed, but there was a lot of people out.
I don't know. I feel like my Walmart experience may have left a negative a negative spin on that. It was, like the entire world was out this weekend. It was wild.
Neil just texted, said, OB didn't miss much. Every Walmart I went to has been sold out of bikes for weeks. Because everybody was just trying to grab anything to enjoy outside with.
Well, that's what, and I kind of felt like that. I was like, you know what? I'm going out of my mind. And when I left the house, I started looking around and I was like, oh, look, your entire metro area is experiencing the exact same sensations that you are. Mm-hmm. I thought, well, check
it's
not good.
Amazon. Maybe there's an Amazon Basics bike.
You know what? That's probably true.
Maybe it'll be just fine.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the riot on Radio U.
It was a weekend, at least in our area, where so many people. It just seemed like the entire city had been hiding inside, and then everybody came out this weekend. And it was fascinating to me to watch. It's funny, like going to different parts of the city, you will find that people continue to treat the stay at home and wear masks and all that stuff completely differently. And different online communities react very differently to it. Man, I'm part of a couple of local Reddit forums.
Yeah.
They're just like, everyone's going to die, and it's their fault, and I can't wait to watch them die.
Oh, it had that tone.
They were just so intensely angry about people being out and about. And there was one local business in particular that they gathered the ire. They have become like the poster child for we're open and not social distancing. And it was, I saw it on every possible social media outlet. And I checked last night. All three like area network news people were all like, here we are at Standard Hall. Did you see that?
Is that the place?
Yeah, it's the place.
No, I've not heard of it.
It's a place in Columbus's short north that has an outside patio. And dude, like so many people so angry at the way that
now I just looked. The owner said that they've been unfairly targeted.
Well, you know what? Like I saw the owner posting some things where they were like, okay, perception versus reality.
Sure.
And so they were showing photos of like from the side of what it looked like. And then they had aerial photos down at the exterior.
The outside patio.
Yeah. And they're like, look, like we've got the table spaced out, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's fine. And dude, they were everywhere. Like I saw them.
I saw another restaurant that got like fined because of it.
I think they did as well. I think they ended up getting some city health inspectors that came by.
Well, they're being told on. Basically, everybody tattled on them if they did. I didn't see the pictures, but no, there was another place that actually got fined.
Yeah, well, I saw some of that too. Like if you citizens, if you see someone
not start this. We can't start that telling on people.
Well, that I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't felt this way about anything so far, but that's the one that to me is just like, oh, like I feel like we're calling the Gestapo in the middle of the night kind of stuff. Like, look, what do you do? We're reporting on each other now.
That's what they're doing.
That is what they're doing. So that was big over the weekend as patios began to open back up. Like the new hotness was getting out there, looking at the patios, taking pictures of the patios, and then posting about the patios.
And then going and buying bikes like you just couldn't win.
No bikes. No bikes. I thought about you, though, Nikki. Like I finally gave in this weekend. For weeks, I've been thinking about ice cream.
Yeah.
Haven't had any.
Finally?
I just went to I went to an ice cream place that was doing like a drive-through.
Mm-hmm. The line.
Oh my gosh. There were roughly 500 million people at this ice cream place. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. So I just went to a grocery store.
Yeah.
No line, no wait, aisle 3.
You got all your stuff there.
I got myself, would it have been a pint? Like a little one?
The little one, yeah.
Yeah, ate the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I think of it as the medicine of the quarantine.
It was so good.
It settles your stomach.
It was so good.
Ice cream is just absolutely the best.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you made that choice.
I feel good about it.
What you're about to hear will live on the internet forever. Sorry, Internet, the worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki, over the weekend, there was yet another should have been in theaters but ended up on demand movie that hit. I'm talking about Scoob.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Not surprised they went ahead and pushed that to video on demand and did not wait, until theaters reopened.
It really didn't do well.
It didn't? I was curious.
No. It apparently did not do well. Now, I don't have numbers yet. I just saw something that said that it was kind of below expectations.
Yeah.
And, man, the reviews are bad.
Yeah, but that's one thing. The reviews can still be bad, but they can still make a lot of money. It's curious if it would do, like, does that count as like the kids movie that Trolls, which made a ton of money? Does it count the same?
What do you mean? Like would they have?
They said that was so popular because it was a kids movie and a lot of people were stuck inside their house. Does the Scooby Doo movie count as the same, where people would be getting it for other people to watch to keep them busy?
I would think so. Like, I would think that would be why they would do this. Like, hey, Trolls did so well.
They wanted it to work just like that.
So, again, I don't have any actual numbers, but word on the street is not exactly the Trolls gangbuster weekend that they were hoping for.
Scooby Doo, you mean?
Yeah, maybe they should have released it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably. There are some movie theaters. I think I was reading an article. There's like 200 theaters across the country that are open.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there are some movie theaters. They practice physical distancing, but those have started.
All right. Well, there's just nothing to watch.
Yeah, so I wonder if that one made it in.
Boy, that's a good question. Do you think it actually, in whatever those theaters were, did it get some kind of a release?
I don't know. Some of the it's not the theaters that show those numbers, but it's actually the studios, the movie studios that do. But yeah, they're saying the last weekend for projections was May 8th through 10th. So
wow,
that's not there. Doesn't include that one.
Jeff says that he watched it last night. It was cute but not funny. Fred was the best part. I don't know. Like it was one of those things that can't claim to be all that interested in it anyway.
Maybe because things were starting to open up. People were more wanting to be outside, and they weren't as desperate to watch anything and everything.
I'm sure that's true. But, Nikki, at night, you still got to have something to do.
Got to have something to fill the time.
Like, say, if they put Black Widow out on demand.
They could have done that, right?
That would have been a better choice for my personal interests. Perhaps you could have done that.
You must wait for that.
Sorry. All right. That's fine. I'll just hang out here until November.
You're basically listening to a real-time cringe compilation. This is The Riot on Radio U.
So here's what I'm trying to do. You can tell me whether or not it's working. I am trying to develop an attitude of gratitude.
Hey!
So I spent some time over the week. I actually feel like it all kind of built up to a moment. I was listening to a podcast last week. Someone was talking about, hey, like you just need to
be thankful.
Be thankful. Like, intentionally thankful to God for things in your life. And that kind of rolled into something else that I was listening to and reading, where it was talking about the idea of, like, in your brain, basically you've got these neural pathways that you forged over time. And so if you're grumpy, it's easy to be that. Or if you're ungrateful, it's easy to be that or whatever, because you have literally grown your brain in that direction. But again, what I've read, neuroscience says that we actually, despite what was once believed, that you get to a point where you can't change, basically, that you can intentionally change your mind and that you can make choices to do this. But it is difficult because you're basically swimming upstream. Like, your brain is so used to going one direction in a very specific way
that it might feel like a fight.
Yes, that it will probably be an uphill fight to get there, but it can be done. And so that's what I've been working on. I actually feel like this is something that, sincerely, we talk about having a relationship with God. In prayer, I've been asking God, like, God, something's got to change around here because I'm losing my mind. And I feel like this is kind of where God has brought me, is like, hey, you got to learn to be grateful. And so I am literally trying to teach myself to do this. I'm asking God to help me. I'm not doing it alone. But, for example, being thankful for something as small as coffee, shoes on my feet, a car to get to work in, like just whatever, anything I can think of to be thankful for from moment to moment, and trying to, like, as, grumpiness rears its head, and it doesn't rear its head. It just sits here because it's,
it's always there.
It's always with me.
But being more vocal about the things as the day goes on that you're thankful for.
Choosing to be thankful for. It's not that easy. Some of it comes naturally. Like, there's some things where I'm like, yeah, but then other times where I'm like, oh man. Now, it's not about being thankful for bad things. Don't misunderstand what I'm talking about. So it's like, I broke my leg. I'm so thankful my leg's broken. Whee! But it might be something like, I'm thankful somebody was there to help me. Or it's being thankful for good things in bad circumstances even. Not for the bad circumstances themselves. That's insanity. Like, some people want us to be thankful for bad things. That
doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense. I think that is probably one of the things that keeps us from even being thankful at all. But I think we have to find something where it's like, hey, this is something that I can be thankful for. That's my plan. so far.
That's what we're going to work on today and this week and the rest.
I'm 2 days into it. 2
days in?
Now, we still have to do the show. So, I mean, it can't be like...
And sometimes it's easier when you're like, oh, I'm 2 days in on the weekend. When, you know, it maybe is easier, but now you're on to the tougher days, and it could be harder.
Hey, I hear you. Like, you know, was I thankful to get out of bed this morning? No, but I had to be like, I sure am thankful that...
You had a bed.
I had a bed to sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
I sure am thankful that I didn't have to go out and hunt or gather food. There was just food. Pretty thankful for that. So, I mean, you see where I'm coming from.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I wasn't going to talk about this, but I was going to ask Nikki off air. But you know what? We're family.
Let's just talk about it on air.
Okay, so we have a new staff member at RadioU. You haven't met them, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know if we're going to let you have her real name or if she's going to have a stage name.
Sure.
So I won't use her name. But I'm going to be starting the training process to bring her into the on-air family today. How in the heck am I supposed to do that?
You have to physically distance. It's
How
weird.
am I supposed to do that?
You have to sit in the corner.
Am I going to put her in the studio and then I'll sit outside in a chair like, hey?
No one said it would be easy.
Like, how am I supposed to do this?
And you have to wear a mask.
And I have to wear a mask. Like, how am I supposed to? I'd sit there talking to her like, hey, let me teach you how to be on the radio. Now, wear a mask. While you're on the radio.
We do not have to wear a mask when we're on the radio. But if you are like in meetings and stuff, or if you're not just sitting at your desk, you're supposed to be wearing a mask at businesses.
Okay. What if?
Yeah.
Conference room, we sit at complete opposite ends of the table.
You could do that.
We don't have to wear masks because we're a million feet apart.
As long as you were that distance, yes.
So, but see, we both have to pass through the door. So I'd always say, you go in and sit all the way down there. I'm going to go in. I'm going to sit all the way down here.
Sure.
And then we can talk.
It's hard. Not every room and building is set up for this distancing thing.
It's not. You guys should see, we have a studio upstairs that we use for various things. And it's roughly the size of a broom closet. And one person can sit in there comfortably.
And that's all that normally it's there for.
But you're supposed to put two people in there. It's bad news. It's bad.
Just scoot over and it's okay. No matter what, just try your best.
Okay. I know, but like what I'm not,
You want me to tell on you? I'll be like, I'll call you in.
Well, here's the beautiful thing is there have been many emails written and sent to us about protocol and blah, blah, blah. And you know what I've done? I have kind of perused them.
Oh, you need to go back and read them all?
I've glanced through them.
You should have read them.
I don't have to because they don't affect me until today when suddenly they do.
Now you needed to know. The big thing is just, again, remember, you always check your temperature when you come in.
I did. I'm like 93.2.
It's very cold.
So I'm dead.
But then outside of that, just put your mask on and you're fine. And stay away.
Put your mask on and stay away.
Yes.
It's like I'm the Phantom. Just like, I put my mask on.
Am I going to hear you singing? The other studio room.
Leave the Phantom's box open and I live in the catacombs beneath the city.
Yes.
Put on your mask and distance.
That's it. So if you need something, just start singing a song and we'll hear you.
I knew that all of that, Broadway study that I had done by listening over and over again would come in handy.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on RadioU.
Got some actual video game-ish news coming up in a couple of minutes. But first, Nikki, you and I need to get a hold of what's happening this week.
What's this week?
This Friday, something you and I have talked about for quite a long time actually happens.
What is it?
Maneater.
Oh, the video game.
The shark game. That happens this Friday.
Now, before you guys are like so excited, like, oh my gosh, should I be a part of this? I don't know about that. It might be something we have this weird thing with shark video games and movies to a degree. But the worse it is, the better we like it.
Look, when things aren't... It is what it is.
If you're like, it was so gruesome and horrible and it shocks you, then you might not like these things.
This is not for you.
And I'm sorry, but then us on the other side are just yeah.
Nikki and I would be giggling. Like you would be standing there in horror, and Nikki and I would be
like,
giggling.
yeah, this is great. So we're looking forward to the game.
Yeah, well, I need to see a review. Like,
I don't think it'll be good.
What if? Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I keep seeing like everybody in the previews for it.
Yeah,
like back in I think February or March, people got to play like an hour of it and all this stuff, and people really seem to like it. So, what if it's good?
Well, I'm just expecting it to not be good, but to still enjoy it. And if it's better than that, then to be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe it's good. I mean, I'm not saying it is.
So we want to do an after show on Friday. Should we just play Maneater? What? He's looking at me like he's like, oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be easier?
We could.
Yeah, we could do that.
You just blew my mind. Wow. And you know what? The other thing we could do is let's talk to Chris. What we could just literally sit. We could drag that TV in here.
Yeah.
And we could just sit right here. We just need an extra, just need to be able to put an input on it. And we'd have to be able to go pick it up probably.
Yeah.
For Xbox.
Oh, you can download it the night, can't you?
No, maybe that morning, or we could maybe pick up a physical copy, like if we pre-order it.
These are all things we could figure out, but...
I mean, do you guys want to all talk about it together right now? You guys want to work through the logistics of it here
guys,
on the show?
On. Grab a snack, all right? We're going to talk you guys through it so that we know what we're going to do on Friday.
That's probably the answer.
It sounds fun.
I think
I would enjoy it.
What you're saying didn't even cross my mind.
As long as we wouldn't annoy you guys by playing what some might find to be a gruesome game for Maneater.
It's going to be gruesome. Well, you know what? We'll just see.
Think about it.
The other option we were considering was Wii bowling.
I know, but I mean, we can do both. We have
it's got to be one or the other.
Not that day, but we can do both of them.
Getting the tech set up for Wii bowling is going to take way longer.
Which
is why I'm automatically excited about this.
What do you guys prefer? We wanted to do like a retro fun thing with Wii bowling, and we would just hang out after the show with you guys on Facebook. Would you prefer that, or would you prefer the shark game, Maneater? Or if you're saying we could do both, and we'll just do one this week, we could do one another week.
Okay, you know what? You should text us 877-2-RADIO-U.
And that'll help us decide for Friday.
But then I'll also put up, can you still do Facebook polls?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question.
If they don't, you know what? I don't think they do. Let's see. Check-ins, watch parties. Everybody sit around while I process this.
Again,
I'll tell you what.
Make you guys sit through all this.
No, I'll put it on. I think you can make it. Just text us. We'll just stop there. Just done. Go ahead. 877-2-RADIO-U.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Video game sales have hit a historic high.
Well, people have been home. They be playing. They
say for this quarter, which is the first quarter of the fiscal year. So, I got the air quotes out for fiscal year on that. They say that we are now at $10.86 billion in video game sales, which is up 10% over last year and is the highest that they've ever had. Do they count like Animal Crossing as the reason? Oh, well, no. Is that a big chunk of it? Or what do they say is the big thing? I'm sure it's part of it. They haven't pointed to like any one thing. Of course, they have pointed out that Animal Crossing has done very well. They've sold, I think Nintendo sold like almost 11 million copies of the new Animal Crossing. That's a lot. Yeah, I think people are just at home, and whether you've got classes or work and you had been working at home, you had extra time. And you were willing to try, like, Switches were just super hard to find because very hard. People who never really wanted one before were like, yeah, I can do this. So you got one. Yeah. Yeah. So did you get your second Switch yet? No, not yet. Almost every podcast that I've listened to, in which it is a video game podcast, and the members of that podcast are married, living with someone, whatever, and there's only one Switch between the two of them. Have they been talking about getting a second one? almost
and that's
all
for
of them,
Animal Crossing.
almost all of them have bought one.
Yeah.
So they can have their own Animal Crossing island.
You have to have whatever you start Animal Crossing on is what you have to stay on. So,
Right.
you can't switch between. But, I have a Switch already, but Eric can use that one, and I can use the pretty gray or the teal or the yellow one.
It's the thing.
Yeah, so if I wanted to do Animal Crossing, I would start it on that one.
Yeah. Well, it's out there.
Or Maneater.
Maneater's not coming to the Switch.
I know it's not.
You got an Xbox or PlayStation, but you got a PlayStation at home?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So, you can eat the man.
I could do that there. But for everybody else, there's nothing wrong with it. I think sometimes people think it's a negative, like gaming is increased. What's going to happen? But you're just filling the time with something, and that's fine.
Well, I think it does come down to it's stigmatized, but think about this. Wind the clock back 200 years. Do you know what was stigmatized that way? Reading.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't want to get too many
educated.
Don't get too many words in you, boy. Sitting around doing nothing, reading a book all day, wasting your life.
So it's like, just like that was. Now, games can still have that, even though it's way better than it used to.
Yeah. You know what? I think it just comes down to we always, the older generation always thinks the younger one is a waste of time. Keep in mind that we who are the waste of time will one day be pointing back going, you guys are just wasting your time.
It's just how it goes.
It's just the way it is. And I don't know what we'll be saying like, oh, this new generation is blah, blah. Whatever it is, we'll have a thing just like they got a thing. And then they'll have a thing. We'll be dead, but they'll have a thing about the people that come after them. That's just what they do.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported RadioU.
So, Nikki, Memorial Day weekend is coming up.
Yeah, it's next Monday, so it
Right.
starts, Friday.
So, Nikki and I will not be here next Monday. 1 week from today, we'll be gone.
I just want to make sure you guys have a heads up.
Right. So, I was thinking this weekend about getting out of town and, going, and so I've been looking at rentals, places
like a cabin rental or something?
Like a cabin rental or a
Airbnb.
condo rental, an Airbnb, all this kind of stuff. But here's the thing I can't get over. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Right? So is it really worth it? Because here's the part that drives me crazy is I feel like I'm climbing the walls.
Because you're kind of tired of being in your house. We go to work, but outside of that, everybody else still just stays at home. So you're
Right.
safer at home.
So I'm just like, man, I am just dying for a
You want
change
a
of
vacation.
scenery. Something. But I feel like also if I go on vacation, I'm probably going to die.
Well, there's a difference. It feels like you're just wanting a change in scenery of the place you're staying, but I don't know if we'll take care of that feeling of you wanting a vacation.
Right.
There's not like there's anything else to do wherever you go.
That's the thing I keep thinking about. Okay, so I go away.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to do. And I don't even know. I'll probably have to go buy food and take food and prep food and whatever. That's work right there.
Well, it'd be so expensive also because it's a holiday weekend.
Right. So you drop big time bucks hoping to somehow cure the feeling of whatever. And but I mean, you're just going to go do the stuff that I would do at home.
And then you're upset because you spent the money.
I'm going to be at this vacation rental reading a book.
Sure.
Or
watching the same shows you'd watch at home.
Right.
I don't know if it's the right time yet. Maybe if you went camping, because then you're not inside a place.
I thought
outside.
about camping, but camping's a lot of work.
Well, yeah, but it's different type of work. That'll really get you out of the inside funk sort of thing.
Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, I would say you need to go camping.
Maybe
but if you're going to go
camping.
just to another person's or place's house, that's worthless.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of how I feel
Now,
about it.
good luck to you, since I don't know if camping's opened by then in our area. It might be a few days after, but good luck finding a place.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, people book Memorial Day weekend camping is nearly impossible.
Sure.
Because people literally will book a year out.
But then it's been
advance.
closed, so maybe those all got canceled and you can sneak in.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Oh, I know what you should do. You should do a boat rental, like a houseboat or something. Go spend the time on the water. Does that not sound fun?
Okay. Do you think I know anything about houseboats?
Well, I mean, it's just a floating house. It can't be too hard.
Yeah.
A couple of YouTube videos later, you're set.
We saw,
you're a captain.
Was it Lennox that rented a houseboat?
Yeah, they were in Florida with a houseboat.
Yeah. So we saw that.
You can find a lake houseboat. That'll be great.
You know what? It's probably a thing.
Yeah, you'll have a great time.
It's probably a thing. I can tell you this. I am losing my mind.
What are we supposed to do, though? Today?
It's not.
It's an attitude of gratitude.
I'm being thankful. I am. I am thankful for a place to go.
Crazy.
I'm thankful for whatever. I am.
Yeah.
Just this weekend, it was like, oh, man, I've got the whole weekend to, oh, my gosh, be stuck in here. I can't.
He is losing it. And now, this coming weekend, you'll have an extra day to feel like that, unless you do something else.
I thought about that.
I'm sorry. I don't know what else to recommend.
I don't either. And I've done all the crap. I've exercised and what else do
Everything
they have?
Tell you to do to make you feel better.
I'm doing all that, and I'm still just like, oh, gosh.
Get you out of there.
Isn't there something else?
You could camp outside your house. Just set up a tent and stuff. That way, if you need to go in, you're there.
You know what? I know this is not true. This just goes to show you my own problems. But I feel like when I sit on my porch, my neighbors look at me funny. The last thing I need is for them to see me camping out in the backyard.
They'll just think you're in the backyard. They won't notice.
They'll know. They know everything.
Okay. Well, I don't have any other options for you. Stay in the car. That's it. Go take your car and go somewhere in the car.
Just stay in the car.
Perfect.
That's not bad.
You could do that too.
This is the worst of the riot on RadioU.
You know what, Nikki? We don't need to go camping. We don't need to go on a trip. We don't need anything because Apple is reopening 100 of its stores around the world.
Hey, you can camp there.
We could go to the Apple store. Well, in the United States, they're going to reopen 25 stores in 7 states.
Nice. I wonder if ours will reopen.
We're going to need to take a look at that, Nikki, because if so, we need to get back to the Apple store.
It's nice if something happens. Like if you have a problem, you can go there, even though they're just sending it in. They're mailing it in. But for everybody else, if you've had a problem with your phone or some sort of Apple product, you had to be the one mailing it in.
Right.
To get it fixed. So it'd be nice, I guess, to have some place you can go to again.
Now, yes. Now, just to be clear, you can't just walk in.
Oh, you have to have an appointment?
You have to wear a mask, and you're going to have to submit to having your temperature taken.
That's no big deal.
And answer a questionnaire at the door about your health.
No way.
Yes way.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. It just says that you're going to have to answer a questionnaire.
Do they ask you, like, if you've had it or if you are feeling sick?
Probably that. Don't you think it's probably going to be stuff like, hey, have you had COVID-19? Are you planning on getting it? Do you have a cough?
I haven't been to a place where they've asked you things, though I know some movie theaters started doing that, and there's a few other stores where you go in. So don't be shocked if someone wants to take your temperature or ask you a few questions.
Right.
Don't get an attitude about it, guys. Remember, this is the store's policy. If you want to go in, let's just have a good attitude.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go in? Then let them do whatever they want to get you in.
Everybody else waiting to get in won't have an even longer wait. Just go in.
It's fine.
And we don't have to be happy about it. You can grumble at it later. Just wait and get your stuff done
Not
first.
to the poor chap that's barely making minimum wage as he has to take your temperature for you to get in the door.
Yes, don't do that.
They're also scared for their life. But they sure are glad you're there.
So that would be opening soon. Just depends on which Apple store you have. Yay!
So let's do some research, Nikki. You and I could go to the Apple store this weekend.
We could. Well, you're desperately trying to find something to do this weekend.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
That's ridiculous.
I feel it coming out of you.
I'm having a great time.
You need to find something to do. You have to.
You know what? I know that it's just circumstances or whatever, but I work really hard during the week. I know nobody thinks I do, and that's fine. It's fine that no one thinks that I do, but I really do. And then on the weekend, I just sit around and think about starting it again. Like, well...
Oh, you're just waiting for it to return.
Here we go again. I'm so tired. And then I just kind of rest.
Aww.
And then it's like, well, let's fire it back up.
Well, that was just an option then, too. You could just go to the mall and try to go shopping. Woo! Yay! Or at least look around because you don't want to spend money.
Hey, so what do you think of Obadiah?
The truth is, he's not a very nice person.
Okay, well, what about Nikki?
The very best there is.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, you know the deal. The theme, the ongoing thing in TV is to almost give you what you want. Mm-hmm. Like, so close to giving you what you want.
Well, they don't want it to be the perfect thing for you.
It's like, hey, I really want a Batman show. How about Batwoman? No, that's not what
Batman.
I said. What about Pennyworth or whatever? It's about Alfred, his butler. No. What about the Teen Titans show that has Robin in it? No. No.
They can't give you the main thing, though, because they reserve that for larger projects. Like they keep a hold over that stuff for movies.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Over the weekend, they announced a new Star Trek TV show.
A new one?
Yeah.
So is there still the Star Trek CBS one? Then there's Picard.
Okay. They've got Star Trek Discovery.
That's still around?
It's supposed to be back later this year, I think. They did Star Trek Picard, which I actually thought was pretty good all the way up until the end. And the ending, the more you think about it, the more it's like, what the heck is this? But it's fine.
But pushing that aside. Are we talking something else?
It's going to be called, is it called Brave New Worlds? Or whatever it is, Star Trek something. Strange New Worlds is what it's going to be called.
Will that also be CBS?
Yes, CBS All Access. It's going to happen on the Enterprise with Spock. You get Spock and the Enterprise with Captain Pike and somebody else.
Okay, well, what were you wanting?
Let's just bring the whole Captain Kirk whatever back.
Oh, you want
just bring
all
it back.
that back.
Just bring the whole thing back. They're not going to make that next Chris Pine movie. That ain't happening.
So just move that to then the TV show side.
Yeah, just do the thing. And they're like, nope. So this is going to be Star Trek before Star Trek, because why are we obsessed with prequels? Don't ask. And this will be what happened on the Enterprise before Captain Kirk came along.
Before Captain Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right.
Okay. They say it's going to be more hopeful.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess the other one had no hope.
See, I have a real hard time with prequels because I already know the ending stuff of in the future. So I just have a hard time grabbing the characters.
Yeah, I mean,
from prequels.
I guess at the end of the day, looking at this Star Trek prequel, the two things you know for sure that'll happen is Mr. Spock will live and the Enterprise will live. But everybody else they can kill off or hurt or maim or get lost in an alternate dimension or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff they can do to people.
Well, there's your show right there.
They say it's going to be more classic old school Trek, where it's more like adventure of the week and hopeful.
Yeah, okay. That's good. You'd like that.
I mean, I'm in. I'll watch it.
Do you still have CBS All Access?
No.
You canceled it after Picard?
Yeah.
You only had it for Picard?
Yeah, and the smart play would be they gave everyone a free month of CBS All Access when the Picard finale came around. So I think I'm just going to wait until this show ends its run and get my free month
and then watch them all at once?
Yeah, sure. Why?
That is a smarter plan.
Why not?
Any dates or next year, or what do they say?
No, we don't know. Just that probably they'll make one probably. So that we can look forward to that.
I love when it's, confirmed like that.
So
it's like you get no details, but possibly.
I do think they're going to do it, though. They did spend a lot of money building Enterprise sets.
Oh, and they can use them.
When they did that, I was like, this smells to me like another show.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Happy birthday to you. Vroom.
Whose birthday is it?
Happy birthday to you. Vroom. That's the sound of my car's engine. I was a part of a birthday parade over the weekend.
Oh, you were? Your first one?
Yeah, first one, Nikki.
Congratulations.
First time for everything, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So met some people in a parking lot. Of course, didn't get too close to them. Yeah, I actually thought at one point, I was like, should I get my car this close to them?
I'm in the car. Fine. I think your car is fine.
I know, but I'm just...
You were nervous.
I've been inside the walls behind the COVID curtain for so long. That's how you start to think.
You weren't even sure.
Should I park this close? So, yeah, we all lined up. I had some window, whatever you have, window marker.
Oh, sure. You marked on the windows with the
happy birthday, blah, 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 did all that. And then we all lined up and drove past. And That parade.
Now, may I ask you something? Because we have a lot in our neighborhood.
Nope.
I want to ask you something.
No.
Did you honk when you were at the person's house, or did you, like the people in my area, seem to honk
the entire time?
The entire time, like we didn't know you were coming and going.
No, I honked when I was one car away.
That's perfect.
Then when I was there and probably passed. So I would say 3 car lengths of honking, just a couple of honks. Honk, honk, honk.
I think that's good because not where I am. They do a couple a week, and then they had a graduation thing and all this stuff, and it's honking all the time. All the time.
Where it's a honking good time.
It is.
Honk it honk.
And then, like the cops come through with it, or because sometimes fire trucks, and you don't know, like, is there an actual emergency, or is it it's confusing.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So
and loud.
I didn't have, some of the people in this parade that we were having really did it up. They had signs and balloons and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, I was just going to yell.
That's all. You fit in. If you just put your car in between the other ones, they won't even notice.
There was just one more in the line, but like it was fine. I thought when I got done, I was just like, well, is that it?
Hey, you got out of the house.
Is that it?
You
like
got
we just did it. That was the birthday party.
That was
you know what?
All right. Well, okay. Put that here. Would you have rather had to go to someone's place to do a party for hours and hours? And sometimes for like these, they throw presents out the car.
Yeah.
But if not, if you didn't have to, like, is this easier? Is this actually better?
And come to think of it, this means that we've had a birthday party where I haven't had any cake. So I've got a get your cake free card. So I should go get myself some cake so I could celebrate.
You could have your own cake. I guess that is a negative then. No food and no cake.
There was no cake, but you know what? Maybe the time saved made it worthwhile.
Because you didn't have to stay for the whole party.
Then again, I could really go for some cake.
True.
It's a tough call. It's a trade-off.
But you had fun?
Oh.
Okay, is that the wrong word to use? I don't know what else to use.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Cricket. I take it you did not have fun being a part of your first car birthday parade.
It was just pretty neutral. Like, I wasn't mad.
Never mind.
I wasn't whatever, but did I walk away like, man, that was fun?
That's what some other people probably did.
Can we do it again?
Oh, gosh. All right.
Is that too honest? Should I have pretended? Yeah, it was great. I
thought we were trying to be a little bit more positive, and that doesn't seem like it.
Well, that was last week. So, you asked. You asked.
That's my fault. That's my bad.
What do you want?
I thought you were going to say, yeah, it's great to do something different.
I will say I did want to. I thought about what a bummer it must be. She's at home. It's her birthday. She can have a party, whatever. I was like, that stinks. So I really wanted to do
cheer up.
Yeah, I wanted to do something nice for them, and yes, I enjoyed it.
Now the person knows how you feel.
They don't listen. Nobody does.
It doesn't matter.
The Riot, not everyone's fan.
I wonder whose idea this was.
RadioU.
So Nikki has passed me 5 recipes that are trending on Instagram during the lockdown?
No, they're basically saying this article, I think it was from the Times, they were saying these are the quarantine trends.
Yeah.
When you look through that list, we are not on trend with the same thing then, because I didn't see any of this stuff. This seems like next level, very rich sort of thing, but it's not like what we've seen.
Like Helen Rosner's roast chicken over cabbage.
No one's done that. Is that been a trend?
Who's making that?
Who's making roast chicken over cabbage?
Bon appetit, focaccia?
It seemed very, very off, this list.
Yeah.
So I brought up some other stuff that didn't make it into this list, but I felt that were trends.
Like, what did you have?
Well, basically, they were talking...
We were talking about pancake cereal that you make at home.
That's one of them.
Now, that sounds like us.
So they basically keep bringing up, the whipped coffee, where if you take instant coffee and hot water and sugar and whip it up and then pour it into milk and stuff, that's been everywhere. That's probably the biggest quarantine trend that has been everywhere.
You
haven't seen that one?
Yeah, I just don't think it looks that good.
But you have seen it. So that's the biggest one during everybody's time at home. Pancake cereal's been a more recent one. You take little pancakes that you make, and then you put them all in a bowl, and you pour syrup all over, and you eat it like you would eat cereal.
Hallelujah.
So another one is a lot of people made banana bread during quarantine. That became a trend.
Actually, you know what? I had a friend that made banana bread and gave me a loaf. It was delicious.
So that's been a big trend. And then in the beginning, when a lot of restaurants closed, they gave a lot of recipes for their well-known things.
Sure.
So that was also a trend during quarantine to try to replicate some of your favorite things that you couldn't eat anymore.
I just saw KFC gave out their recipe for like chicken and nachos or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have it in front of me because I don't need that kind of knowledge.
Well, a lot of places, though, were doing that. So those were the main trends that I could think of, but this list was way not our world.
I don't know. Who am I to say? Like, I've been pretty dang bored, all right? So
bored enough to make a roast chicken over cabbage?
Heavens no. I hate cabbage.
They said there was a focaccia trend that ran around, though I will say people tried making their own bread in the beginning when it was hard to find bread. So they called that the focaccia trend.
I'm trying to think, did I make anything in quarantine that I wouldn't have made otherwise?
Nothing else on this list, though. Nothing else.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, I went out and bought ice cream. I haven't done that in like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that for follow me for more recipes?
They were being generous, thinking that all of us fell into the trend of making something where we were just eating and buying whatever.
You know what? To me, this all just feeds immediately back into where are you in life in how you quarantined, because
this list they expect you to be way further along.
They're like, hey, you're wealthy, you're stuck at home, et cetera, et cetera. Sure.
You have your 2 houses and you decided to go to the Hamptons and make the chicken over cabbage. When I don't think that's what most of us was doing.
Man, my quarantine menu was like, we're doing way more takeout than we ever have before.
Maybe the people using this list weren't gaining all the quarantine 20, 25, 30, whatever amount.
Yeah, let's not get started on that. Like, we're thankful today.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm thankful for
for the food.
All that drive-through pickup that I did for quarantine. And I'm thankful for the people that made their own special recipes. Good for them. That's wonderful. Good job, guys.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Again, I don't know if you've noticed my swagger today. It's a little different than what I walked out of here with on Friday.
What is it?
Well, over the weekend, thanks to Xbox Game Pass, I played some Red Dead Redemption 2.
Hey!
I killed 2 deer with a bow and arrow.
Nice.
I rescued a guy up in the mountains.
Did you? Did some horseback riding?
And did some horseback riding in the snow. It was so deep. I'm amazed. It is an amazing looking game.
So going into
looks like
what it probably really looks like in real life.
It's crazy. Like, I was amazed by what it looked like.
So going into the weekend, Obi had talked with you guys about, like, hey, let's pick an older game, something not so current to get into for the weekend.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing current.
You went with Red Dead Redemption 2?
Well, yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't free. Well, yeah, like, it's free with Xbox Game Pass. And so I've got Xbox Game Pass through the end of December this year. And I just went and downloaded it. I kept saying to myself, like, maybe I'll start. So I just started. And I know at some point the game kind of opens up, but right now I'm in a very, like, it's the beginning. So it's slowly teaching you, holding your hand on how to do this, how to do that. Yeah.
Did you like it, or you think you'll keep going?
I think I'm going to play some more. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, what did I play this weekend? Like maybe 2.5 hours of it, I think, and I'm still rolling through the beginning. But I was just so impressed with the technical merits. Like, it just wow, blown away. And I've heard so many people talk about that. And I'm just like, yeah, graphics, whatever.
But now you know.
Whatever. But it was very cool.
Cool.
So, yeah, I enjoyed that. What's the other thing I played? I played some of Streets of Rage 4 this weekend, which was also on Xbox Game Pass. And then I spent a lot of time looking at the sale at the Epic Game Store. That's kind of a cool thing. Now, that's just for the PC, but they're doing their sale. And so when you start out, they give you a $10 off coupon. And so it works on anything $14.99 and up. And then every time you buy a game, you get another $10 coupon that you can use.
So they're always feeding you for the next one.
So, yeah, they keep. And it's actually, it's a pretty good deal. I didn't buy anything. I just looked because, looking's more, that's like 95% of the fun.
Well, you are kind of still running out, like you said, of things to play.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Corey, he texted, he told you that it was good. He said Red Dead Redemption 2 would be good.
Yeah, he did. So I actually had a lot of you that were like, oh, you got to check this out. You got to check it out. There's a big part of me that was like, hey, I don't know if I want to get invested in this, but I don't know. So far.
What else on the weekends do you have to do?
I don't know, maybe...
You got a couple hours to go wander the land.
Volunteer landscaping?
Oh, you mean outside do landscaping?
I guess.
No, don't when you can do it in the game.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Wait until you get to that part.
That's what everybody else...
That's the landscaping expansion pack, which if you haven't downloaded the DLC, then...
I want you to know that I found one of my roommates with paper and pen, and I was like, what are you doing? And they were like... Nothing. I was like, no. What are you doing? And they're like, I'm planning out how I want to lay out my house in Animal Crossing, but I'm just doing it on paper.
Well, that's that. A lot of people are doing that.
What are you doing? What? Like, you
have to plan your house.
You know what, Nikki?
Not
what
your
am I
real
saying?
one,
What am I saying?
But the game.
If you fail to plan,
then you're planning to fail.
You're right.
Come on.
You're right.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
I read an article this weekend that said the secret to happiness was buying an electric car.
They said that?
Yeah.
We have no place to drive to, really.
They didn't really say that. But
oh, you took that from it, or are you just lying?
I'm just lying.
Okay. You're making it work?
But I did read an article this weekend about yo man, Nikki.
Hey, Dyson.
Dyson got him an electric car.
I don't know why, but I have brand loyalty to, I would say, Apple, Kirkland, and Dyson. Those are the three things. Two of them are way overpriced, and one is actually reasonable.
And quality.
That's about it. That's me wrapped up.
If you're wondering what Kirkland is, that's Costco's in-house brand. And Nikki has a great affinity for the Costco's.
But I love Dyson. But Dyson's, anything they come out with is usually so innovative, but so expensive.
So expensive. Now, I have a Dyson vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've had it forever.
It's a machine. It's a beast.
And it still sucks.
It's such a beast that they say like it can be bad for your carpet because it's so powerful.
It's too much. Too much.
But I did see you were with the article that they've been talking about doing an electric car, and then I thought that got canceled. But
it has.
Is it back now?
No. They're basically, it was canceled, but they're letting people see
what their
prototype and stuff was. And they say that basically they just couldn't find anybody that wanted to invest in it.
Sure.
So they didn't want... I don't know how much more it would have cost. I guess they invested somewhere in the neighborhood of $700 to $800 million on research and prototyping, but they couldn't get anybody else to provide money, any outside investors, and they just quit.
I don't mean this in a mean way, but a lot of times with car companies, I feel like when they make an electric car, they feel like they have to make it so futuristic looking that to most of us it looks ugly.
Just tell them what you're talking about.
It looks ugly.
She's talking about the Cybertruck. She's talking about Elon Musk's Cybertruck.
That's not the only one. A lot of those look not what you would want to jump into right away. They're better now than they used to be, but
I don't have a frame of reference for other than the Cybertruck.
That's the only one?
I couldn't tell you what any of the other cars look like.
Well, this Dyson car that they unveiled, but they're not going to make anymore, the concept stuff just looks like, who's going to sit in a seat like that? I don't know.
Maybe it's comfortable.
Unless it dries my hair. and vacuums my carpet at home, I'm not interested.
You're out. Nikki does have a Dyson hairdryer.
I do. It's fine. It was a present.
Which is why every morning she comes in and her hair's straight back.
It's like, whoosh. I have to put on low setting.
It's that powerful, man.
So that's the car. If you want to see what it looks like, they posted pictures of the word of the prototype stuff.
Do you think, okay, this picture of him standing in front of that car, don't you think that's photoshopped?
It looks like it is, but they said he did drive the prototype. But this picture, the formatting of it makes it look like they just added him into it, but he supposedly drove it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to be like, well...
Looks great, doesn't it?
I mean, I'd drive it. Sure, whatever. I mean, is it free? Then I'm in.
If it's not... then you're not.
If it's like every other Dyson product, this is a $500,000 car. Because
so much.
Take what you would expect to pay. So let's say you're like, oh, I'm going to get a fan because it's kind of hot in here. You go to the store and you can pay $12 to $20 for a fan, or you can buy a Dyson fan for, $250 to $300.
But the Dyson fan's amazing. It's just so much money. So maybe the car would have been really amazing, but just out of the price we want to pay.
That anybody could possibly afford to pay, except for, Dyson's cronies.
Which is why it would be hard for them to find investors in order to make this car actually happen.
Probably
that's about it.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Still looks nice, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sir Dyson.
He'll be all right. He's at home crying himself to sleep on his
drying
$800
his tears
pillow.
with his own fan.
That's right. That's right.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
I have this baby Skeletor on my shirt. Why can't it tell me what it needs?